is the acknowledgement that God is in control. Even prayer doesn't work if you don't surrender it. The first process is what I'll call the capitulation process, and it is the foundation process. Everything is built on this, and everything falls apart if you don't go through this process. That's why it's the first thing that Paul says, and this is what he says simply in verse 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. I'm going to say it again. Rejoice. What Paul in essence does here, and it is a form of Greek literature, what happens is what they will do is if they want to emphasize, if they want to kind of yell it out, if they want to kind of emphasize it, they'll repeat it twice. And so what he says is rejoice in the Lord. And if you didn't hear me the first time, I'm going to tell it to you again because this is important. The foundation of releasing fear and anxiety in our life is based on rejoicing in the Lord. Isn't that interesting? So I asked myself, why is rejoicing and why is praise and worship so important in the alleviation of fear and the alleviation of worry? Well, this is what it does. When I surrender in worship, what it does, it causes me to surrender to the fact that there is someone in control who is greater. What I do is I submit myself to the control of the God of the universe. After all, I think he knows what he's doing, don't you? Basically, I submit my power, the power and the jurisdiction over to the one who absolutely knows everything. And if you never come to the realization of surrendering through worship, then the chances are you will never ever recover from worry. It's as important as that. The truth is you will always surrender to something. And so this is what Paul says. It is a primary ingredient to the elimination of anxiety. If you don't surrender your fear, you will surrender to fear. It will never go away. And surrendering to someone is that you are at that point where you allow the presence of the Holy Spirit to in essence, cause fear to be shackled by the truth that God is in control. Like really, worship in and of itself is the acknowledgement that God is in control. Even prayer doesn't work if you don't surrender it. Stop and think about this for a second. God, I want you to deliver me of this thing that I am not really willing to hand over to you. How does God work in a prayer like that?